You may not be stuck because you don't know what to do. You may be stuck because the woman who built your old life can't lead you into your next chapter. And that is a very different kind of stuck. Because most of the time when you feel stuck, you might think it means something is wrong with you. You think you are not motivated enough, or you are not clear enough, or you are not brave enough, or you are not disciplined enough, or you are overthinking, procrastinating, or making it too complicated. And maybe people around you say things like that, like just make a decision, just take action, just be grateful, just stop thinking too much, which is very nice, but not helpful. So, because if it were that simple, you would have done it already. You are not a beginner at handling your life. I guess you've handled a lot. And I guess you made a lot of decisions, and you've carried responsibilities, and you've built things, and you kept going when you were tired. I'm sure you shown up when nobody saw it or saw what it costs you. So if you're feeling stuck now, maybe it's not because you're weak, maybe it's because something deeper is shifting inside you. The old way of moving through life doesn't work anymore. And that's the part nobody really tells you. There's a kind of stuckness that is not laziness, it's not confusion, it's not lack of ambition, it's not fear in the simple sense. It's more an identity transition. It's the messy middle. It's the place where one version of you is done, but the next version of you has not fully taken over. And I know that can feel strange, because on the outside, you and your life look pretty normal. You still go to work, you still take care of things, you still do everything that's needed, every appointment, the mails, the family stuff, the everyday things. Your life keeps moving, keeps going on. But inside, you don't. Inside, you might feel like you are standing in a hallway, not in the old room anymore, and not in the new room yet. Just there, between the doors. And that hallway can feel like failure if you don't understand what it is. But it's not failure. It's a kind of threshold. Maybe you are not stuck. Maybe you're just between identities. The woman you have been knows how to survive the life you had till yesterday. She knows how to be responsible. She knows how to keep things together. She knows how to be useful. She knows how to be reasonable, how to not disappoint people. She knows how to make life work. She may even be very successful, very capable, admired, very needed. But the problem is, she knows only how to create more of that what she already knows. So she knows, the old version of you knows how to maintain, knows how to manage, know how to adjust. She knows how to keep the system running. But she may not know how to lead you into a life that feels more honest now, because that life requires a different woman, a woman who tells her truth, a woman who doesn't automatically shrink her desire, a woman who doesn't confuse approval with safety, a woman who can say, this no longer fits me, without needing anyone to understand. A woman who can disappoint people without feeling bad. A woman who can want more without apologizing for it. A woman who can choose from who she is now and not from who she had to be. And maybe that woman is already in you, but she's not fully in charge yet. And that's why you feel stuck. Not because nothing is happening, but because two parts of you are no longer moving in the same direction, like this way and this way. And you are, one part wants, you are in the middle, and one part wants the familiar, the too small, even it's tiring, even it's not fully true, but it feels familiar and that feels more safe. But the other part of you wants the real thing, more honesty, more space, more aliveness, more of your own voice in your own life. And those two parts are having a very quiet or loud fight inside of you. And that's why you can think about changing something for months. And that is why you can open the same note on your phone again and again. And that's why you can look at job postings and then close the browser. And that's why you can imagine a different life and immediately talk yourself out of it. And that's also why you can feel clear at night and confused again in the next morning. That's also why you can say, I know something has to change, and still not change it. And it's not because you don't know. It's because knowing is only one part of it. Your old identity is still asking, is this safe? Will people be upset? Will I lose what I built? Will I look foolish? Will I regret it? Who I am to want this? Isn't it too late? Shouldn't I be more grateful? But your newer self is asking something else. Is this true? Is this still mine? Can I keep living like that? What am I pretending not to know? What would I choose if I stopped needing permission? And that's the tension. That's the stuckness. It's not a lack of movement. It's more a conflict of authority. Who gets to lead now? The woman who learned how to be safe, or the woman who's ready to be real? The old version of you is not the enemy. She got you here. She protected you. She made smart choices. She helped you belong. She helped you build stability. She helped you survived in certain rooms or certain seasons or certain expectations. She did what she knew how to do at that time. So it's not about hating her, it's not about shaming her, or it's not about saying, why did I waste so much time? No. Your old self was necessary, but she not maybe your future. And that is the uncomfortable truth. The identity that built your life may not be the identity that can lead you into your next chapter. And that's why trying to force yourself into action doesn't always work, because the stuckness is not just practical. It's not just I just need a better plan. It's not just I need more motivation, or I need to wake up earlier and finally get my life together. You may be trying to take action from the wrong identity, and that's why it sometimes collapses. You make the plan from your future self, but then try to execute it from your old self. And your old self goes like, absolutely not. Too risky, too visible, too selfish, too late, too much, too old, too inconvenient. Let's just stay here a little longer. And then you call yourself stuck. But maybe you are not stuck. Maybe you are trying to make an old self carry a new truth. And she can't. She doesn't know how. She was trained for a different life. She was trained to keep peace, to be good, to be useful, to be responsible, to be needed, to be not too much, to not to want too much, not to change the rules too much, not to make people around her uncomfortable. So when your deeper self says, I want more, the old self says, that's dangerous. When your deeper self says, this isn't my life anymore, the old self says, but we worked so hard for it. When your deeper self says, I need space, the old self says, people need us. When your deeper self says, I want to choose differently, the old self says, what if we lose everything? And that makes sense, but it can't be the only voice in the room anymore. Because when you're over 40, something starts to shift for a lot of women. Not loudly or dramatically, but I'm sure deeply. You start to feel the cost of living from a version of yourself that was built for approval, survival, performance, or duty. You start to feel the cost of being the dependable one if it means you never get to be fully honest. You start to feel the cost of being easy to love if it means you keep making yourself smaller. And you start to feel the cost of keeping a life together when part of you is no longer in it. And suddenly, what used to feel responsible starts to feel like self-abandonment. What used to feel safe starts to feel small. What used to feel like success starts to feel like a costume. What used to feel normal starts to feel unbearable. That doesn't mean you failed. It means your inner standard is changing or has changed. And when your inner standard changes, your old life may not immediately change with it. That gap is where stuckness lives, and maybe you are there right now. You can see more than you are living right now. You can feel more than you are choosing right now. You can sense the next version of you, but you haven't fully become her yet. So you're not behind, you're in between. And I know from myself, from my inner self, in between can feel horrible. Because you don't have the clarity of the old life anymore, but you also don't have the confidence of the new life yet. You don't feel fully home at where you are, but you don't exactly know yet where you are going. You are not ready to burn it all down, but you are also not able to keep pretending it's fine. And that place can feel lonely, because people usually understand decisions after they are made. They understand the new job after you get it. They understand the move after you move. They understand the change after it looks successful. But the in between, the quiet seasons where you are not who you were, but not fully who you are becoming, people don't always know what to do with that. And I'm sure neither do you and I. So you try, and I did, to rush it. You want the answer right now, the plan, the 5 steps, the clear sign, the certainty. That's what I want. I want certainty. The moment where everything suddenly makes sense and works out. But identity change doesn't always arrive like that. Sometimes it begins with irritation, sometimes with boredom, envy, or a sudden no in your body, with a strange grief for a life that still looks good, with wanting something you can't explain yet, with feeling less willing to betray yourself in ways you used to tolerate. And that is not nothing. That is a signal, information, whatever you call it. So instead of asking why I'm stuck, try asking what part of me is done. What version of me can no longer lead me? What am I still trying to force myself to want? Where am I waiting for the old me to feel excited about a life that belongs to the new me? And yeah, that really matters, because sometimes you think you are waiting for motivation, but you're actually waiting for the wrong part of you to approve the next step. Your old self may never feel excited about your new life, because your new life may require things she was taught to fear. More visibility, more honesty, more boundaries, more risk, more self-trust, more desire, more space, more responsibility for your own truth. So maybe the goal is not to convince the old self. Maybe the goal is to thank her and stop letting her drive. That does not mean to ignore your fear. It does not mean you become reckless, or it does not mean you make big dramatic decisions just to prove you're brave. It means you start noticing which part of you is speaking, the old one or the new one. Is this part of me what that wants truth, or the part of me that wants approval? Is this the part of me that wants protecting my life, or the part of me that is protecting my old identity? Ask yourself, is this caution, or is this loyalty to a version of me I'm already outgrown? I think there is a big difference. When you start seeing this difference, stuckness becomes less confusing. You stop saying, what is wrong with me? There's no wrong with you. And start saying, oh, I'm in transition. So you stop saying, I don't know what I want. Start saying, I know more than I'm ready to admit right now. Or stop saying, I'm not brave enough, because you are brave enough. Start saying, the old me is scared and the new me is asking for the wheel. That is a very different conversation with yourself. It gives you more compassion and also more responsibility, because at some point you do have to choose who gets the lead or who gets to lead. It doesn't have to be perfect, not all at once, not with a 10-year plan, but in small, honest moments. Say the real yes. Start the one conversation you stop avoiding, one truth you write down without softening it, or one decision you make from the woman you are becoming and not the woman you used to be and who was trained to keep everyone comfortable. That's how you move on and how you move out of stuckness, not by forcing yourself out, but by letting the right version of you lead the next step. And maybe the next step is not huge. It can be a small step. Maybe it's admitting, I don't want this anymore. I am tired of pretending. I need something different, but I don't know what. This version of success is not enough for me now. Or I am allowed to outgrow what I once chose. And that is important. You are allowed to outgrow what you once chose. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to become someone your old life did not prepare for. And you are allowed to look at something you worked hard to build and say, this was right for who I was then, but maybe not, it is not right for who I am becoming right now. It's not betrayal, this is growth. And growth is not always graceful. Growth sometimes looks like confusion. It looks sometimes like hesitation, or it looks like not being able to keep doing the old thing, even though you don't have the new thing figured out yet. Sometimes it looks like grief, or like restlessness, or it looks like staring at your own life and thinking, I can't go back, but I don't know how to go forward yet. And that's a threshold. And that's not comfortable. It's not meant to be comfortable. It's the place where one identity ends and another one begins. So if you feel stuck after 40, I want you to stop treating it as proof that you are failing. Your stuckness may be telling you the old identity is complete, the old rules are too small, the old way of being loved costs too much, the old version of success no longer fits you, the old life cannot hold the woman you are becoming. And now the work is not to punish yourself into movement, the work is to listen, to name the transition, to stop asking the old you for permission to become the new you, and to take one step that lets the woman you are becoming lead. It's not about your whole life, it's just the next step. So today, ask yourself where I am not actually stuck, but in transition. Which part of me is trying to keep the old life safe? Which part of me already knows the truth? What I am still asking the old version of me to approve? And what is one small decision I can make from the woman I am becoming? You don't need to rush it. Don't turn it into pressure. Just tell yourself your truth. Maybe you are not stuck because you're weak. Maybe you are stuck because the old you is done and the new you is finally asking to lead. I'm Katja, and this space is for women after 40 whose lives look fine from the outside but don't feel fully true on the inside. We talk about identity, truth, desire, self-trust, and reclaiming your life in the second half. It's not about fixing yourself, not by forcing clarity or by learning to let the woman you are becoming lead. If this spoke to the part of you that feels caught between who you were and who you are becoming, subscribe and comment reclaim if you feel like you are standing between two versions of yourself, if you're standing between two doors. Thank you for being here and see you in the next video. Bye bye.